Hey, this is Sid with Table Talk with Sid. This is a life memo. You know, I wanted to have a little discussion and kind of even toss things around for myself. I just ran into two kids that I've known for many, many years, and I've known their mom as well. And, when these kids were young, there was one of them that she just admired and had such passion for, and you could just hear it in her voice and the way she talked about the child, how much she believed in the child, how much she loved the child. All of these things, and her body language was really apparent how much she cared for this little girl. All of that is so brilliant. And unfortunately, that isn't what so many of the kids get these days. So it is absolutely a gift. However, the other child, and again, they're sisters, the mother just, you could feel it on her. She just didn't have the same kind of love for that child. She didn't have the same kind of passion or value or worth or hope even. And, it always hurts my heart, first of all, when I hear parents say that they have a favorite. Because, I have children myself, and I do know this. Every child is different. And I can honestly tell you, I don't love one child more than the other. I love them different because they are different. There's certain things about each child that brings me such inspiration and such passion for them. And also is so intriguing about each child. So, no, I don't love one child more than the other. I love them differently. And, I was brought up the same way. I remember my parents saying the same things to us. I was adopted, and I was brought up amongst a blonde sister, a brunette mother, a redheaded father. And I just remember that being a huge point, that no one was loved more than somebody else. We were all simply loved different for different reasons. And so seeing these two girls come along, and now that they've gotten a bit older, the one that was shown such passion and inspiration and love, she's blooming. The other one is challenged. She's really struggling in life. And I think this is a valuable moment to really keep close to my heart, and hopefully to those who are listening, and really ponder this, because that which you do not give, if you do not give the gift of passion for someone, inspiration, the belief in them, that body language speaks volumes. The way you look at a person, the way you feel about a person, their future, their life, their hopes, their dreams, their abilities. What you do not say, what you do not give, is a gift that that person never receives. If that person doesn't receive that gift of passion, inspiration, belief in themselves, if they do not receive that gift of worth, value, hope, and this unconditional love, when someone lacks that gift and when someone fails to give that gift, the problem is there is now not a firm foundation for someone to build their life off of. It's like trying to build a home and not putting all the ingredients that you need to put into the concrete, and then thinking that concrete's going to be stable and last years and decades. Well, when you don't put everything that you need to put into the concrete, from the fly ash to the mixture, you're not having concrete anymore. You're having some form of something that's going to crack and fall apart. So therefore, that home comes tumbling down. So I think that many of us need to take a moment, because we may not directly say things to someone, and we may not directly say hateful or uncaring things, but when we fail to say things that are uplifting, inspiring to someone else's soul, not for the purpose of you, not for the purpose of what you want for them or the goals you hope they achieve, but for the purpose of them, then we fail in giving a gift that we have an honor in giving and an opportunity to give. And when you run into people that are a little bit, I say sometimes have a little bit of a prickly pear feel to them, doesn't mean they don't need the love. It means they are actually looking for the love. They're looking for opportunity to be worthwhile. And that is such a gift, to be able to step into someone's life, and when they are lacking belief in themselves and hope in themselves and the ability to see their brilliance, to be that person to step up and be able to offer that opportunity to help them begin to see their brilliance. And how that is done is, when I was being brought up, having severe dyslexia still to this day, I mean, I could hardly read. I still don't read well. I still can barely add. I can't help my child from first grade to sixth grade in anything in school, really. But my dad was brilliant in the ability of never looking at what I couldn't do and only focusing on what I could do. So when we went to a grocery store, for example, he would always say to the cash register person, "Hey, have you met my child?" Of course, they're going to say no. But he then took opportunity to say, "Oh, you should see her." Excuse me. "You should see her play soccer. You should see her do gymnastics. You would just be amazed." And I would act embarrassed, but in all reality, I grew up feeling like I had so much potential, so much ability and talent. And, he would say to me, "Now, yeah, you do need to know how to read, write, and do your math. And all I care is that you do your best. You learn the life lessons of stick with it, follow through. Do what you can do, learn where you can learn, put all your effort in. And then whatever your grade is, as long as we're learning that life lesson." But when I was training for the Olympics in gymnastics and in soccer, he was so good to point out, "Do you see? You have a talent most will never have." And he would really encourage me to really focus on the things I was great at. One day I was in middle school, and I was put in some remedial class, and I had glass walls all the way around me, all four sides, in the middle of the library, which all the children had to walk through the library to get to their next class. And I remember feeling embarrassed, but I also remember my dad coming in. I don't know how he heard about it, but he walks in, he's stomping around, and the principal's following, saying, Sir, you can't just wander into the school." I remember my dad swinging the door open and motioning to me to come stand by him. Now, my dad is that guy's guy, that strong guy, just that guy that men really relate to. So I walk over to him thinking I'm going to get in trouble, and he puts his big old arm around me, and he says directly to the principal, "Sir, so can you do a double back?" And once again, this is when I was training for the Olympics in gymnastics. And I remember the principal looking at him kind of puzzled, and he goes, "No, I don't even know what that is." And my dad said, "Exactly, but we're not punishing you for not being able to do something she can do." And I remember him saying to the principal, "Sir, this child's not having the problem. You're having the problem. If you can't figure out how to encourage, inspire, and educate my child more than one way, then you need to go back to school to figure out more methods of how to teach. Because if you're going to punish my child for the inability to learn one way, then we're going to have some problems." And I remember him saying, "She will never be treated as dumb. She will never be put in a class like this ever again." And I remember walking out, and he had his big old arm around me, and he said, "Now, we are going to make sure you can read, write, and do your math. However, you can do things most people will never be able to do." And he says, "I want you to make time and to spend your time focused on what makes you great, focused on what you can do." My parents really did a phenomenal job in raising me. I remember my mom, me being in elementary school, and I remember I had to stay in from recess one day because I couldn't read. I simply couldn't read. And the teacher was so frustrated. And so I had to stand at the chalkboard and write down, "I will do a better job in reading. I will do a better job in reading." When you used to have to do that 100 or 1,000 times. Here comes my mom. She comes in, and she made it very clear that I was going to change classes, and that whomever was going to be my teacher was going to be inspired to figure out how to teach me differently and not expect me to learn on the terms of only one way that that teacher knew how to teach. And then I remember her making a point that my child will never be punished ever again for not being able to do the things you think she should be doing in your form. So my point being is, if all of us can learn to celebrate people for who they are, for the brilliance they own, and if they're struggling to find that, then that's our gift and our opportunity to help them find what makes them amazing. And if we would spend more time celebrating that which makes someone have a purpose, someone have a meaning, we will find more people will be happy, meaningful people. You know, I had a friend tell me once, don't go get a big head over that. She had told me something, some kind of compliment, and I just remember her saying that, don't go get a big head over that. My opinion is this: absolutely. When you hear something great about yourself, go get pumped up. Go get a big head. It doesn't mean you need to be arrogant. It doesn't mean you need to flaunt it. It doesn't mean you need to get too big over yourself and be rude about it. But yes, absolutely, fill your thoughts, fill your mind, fill your soul with the things that make you great. If anything, when things come to you that are trash, that are downfalls, that don't add up in your life, that don't propel you to be a stronger, better person, that's the crap you get rid of. That's the stuff you put in the trash, so you make more room for the compliments. And when they come, own them. Know that they are the truth. Know that people don't just say things to say things. They say things because typically when they give a compliment, they mean it. I hope more people will own the great things that come to them and let go of the trash. The trash is unneeded. Now, sometimes you're going to get constructive criticism that absolutely you need to own, even though it hurts you, because it helps you become the you are meant to be. But if it's just a downfall, if it's just a jab to your side, trash it and let it go. And for all of us out in the world that are wandering around, when you have opportunity with your children, with people you know, with a stranger, the more often we can point out the greatness in these people, the more often we can have passion for their life and their future and see the greatness and the brilliance that they own simply because they are who they are. I think that our world is going to be a better place. We're going to raise happier children. The future of our country is going to be more inspired and more hopeful. And overall, we are going to have kinder, more gentle people in this world.